found it frustrating because I'm looking for answers at this point. I think we both are.
Tonight, some families who lost their eggs and embryos in the UH fertility clinic malfunction are calling an apology from the hospital not nearly enough. Good evening, I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Sarah Schuckman. UH sent those families a letter, and tonight Channel 3's Jennifer Ah got a hold of it. Jennifer, the family you spoke with was hoping for some more information.
Yes, they were. Actually, I have a copy of the letter here in front of me. Now, this letter comes from Dr. Daniel Simon. He's the chief academic officer at University Hospitals. He apologizes again, explaining that this investigation is still ongoing. And here you're about to see the Ash family's response to this apology letter. Looking at this, you don't think this is helping with transparency?
I don't think it's anything that's hasn't been covered thus far.
Amber and Elliot Ash have a beautiful son, Ethan, thanks to IVF treatments. Back in 2014, they stored 2 embryos in hopes of giving Ethan a biological sibling. But a little over 2 weeks ago, the temperature of a storage tank at University Hospital's fertility clinic was compromised, causing thousands of eggs and embryos to be destroyed.
Everything that we had dreamed about and had been thinking about in the recent, probably 6 months or so, really kind of got pushed and taken away.
In this latest letter, Dr. Daniel Simon says the investigation showed no evidence of unauthorized personnel entering or computer hacking. However, because of a similar incident in San Francisco on the same day, hacking has not exactly been ruled out either.
I think this is just telling you that here, we're doing stuff.
Maybe to try and clear their conscience.
The letter adds that UH has now purchased new tanks with new alarm systems from a different supplier. But the Ash family's lawyer, Kenna Barno, says someone needs to be held accountable.
We haven't been allowed to look at the tanks. We haven't been allowed in UH. We haven't had the opportunity to talk with the other entities that could potentially be responsible.
Meanwhile, the letter says the hospital's primary concern is protecting the embryo, supporting patients, and completing a thorough analysis. It sort of seems to almost rub you the wrong way.
It does, because it doesn't give you any new information.
And the part of the letter that also rubbed them the wrong way, the reminder that patients can get an in vitro package and refund of storage fees. A signed release is not required.
That was very upsetting to many patients, many clients. They just didn't like the tenor and the tone and the message.
Now, we reached out to UH, and in response, they sent us this statement you see here. The hospital spokesperson says, "We cannot say anything more because we want to ensure that all patients receive the letter before we say more publicly. We wish to communicate information to patients first."
So, Jennifer, what is the next step in this story?
Well, it's far from over. First of all, there's going to be a court hearing Monday afternoon. Lawyers from both families are actually going to be meeting with the judge to discuss this case. And of course, when it comes to whether this case will go to trial, the attorney for the family said they'll take at least a year or even 2 years before his clients will make any sort of decision on that.
As you said, a long way to go. Hey, good evening. Sarah is off tonight. The ongoing battle to survive continues for those living in a tent city in Akron. Those residents are hoping the city will let them stay despite an ongoing lawsuit. They spoke to Akron City Council tonight, and our Jennifer Ah was there. She joined us now live from Akron. Jennifer, good evening.
Good evening, Russ. Numerous members of this tent city called Second Chance Village spoke out, pleading with the city council to hear their case. They say that they really have no place to go if they're forced out. Now, you may remember back on March 10th, the city of Akron actually ordered this tent city to shut down within 30 days if they didn't file a permit and rezone this property. And now they're pleading with the city and everyone there to really save them. Sage Lewis showed us around Tent City today, saying this homeless community surprisingly has an organized system.
He's got a lot of tent stuff in his tent, so
like I have all the poles, extra tent stuff.
Take a look inside this tent with a bed and a TV.
We are a more low barrier facility that give people more control and freedom to live their lives.
And this pantry filled with food.
I don't think this is done evolving.
He says most of these folks were either kicked out of homeless shelters or didn't want to abide by their strict rules. At the city council meeting, more than 24 people who currently live or used to live in the tent city spoke out in support.
I had a safe place to sleep I was sleeping in a tent, but it was a safe haven.
Women are safe there. They're not getting harmed. No one's stealing. There aren't any crimes going on.
Neighbors we talked to say the folks from Tent City have not caused any issues and don't mind them staying in their neighborhood.
I've never had any problems from them. I've never had anything stolen from around my house. No, we don't have any problems at all.
We also visited that neighbor who filed a lawsuit against them to kick them out, but nobody answered. The leader of Second Chance Village says he has officially submitted a conditional use permit today. He wants this tent city to exist as a conditional campground. But if this permit is not approved,
They're living in the most wretched, deplorable squalor you can imagine under bridges, in the woods, and on the streets.
Where would we go?
now I reached out to the city council members and the city law department about this, both the permit and the lawsuit. However, they declined to comment, saying they're still reviewing this permit. Live in Akron, I'm Jennifer Ah, Channel 3 News.